From the high plains of the Midwest, I bid you good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever your time zone might be. My nod to the late and great Art Bell. I'm Keith Sharp.
And I'm G. Dressel.
And we welcome you to Life After Life, a paranormal webcast where we talk about the paranormal, UFOs, or the unexplained. And the biggest question of them all, what happens when we die? Stay tuned.
Okay.
Hey, good evening, everyone. How is everybody?
Missed everybody.
Yeah, we did. Turn your phone off.
Dude, what?
How funny.
He knows better. I just told his wife I was about to go live. He calls me.
Why does he do that? Okay, so guys, like I said,
he double calls when it's something important, but he's gonna have to keep calling.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I'll turn it off.
Turn the volume down on that. Okay, guys, like I put on there, warning. This show is going to be very graphic and disturbing. Please let this be a warning. If you have triggers or offended by CP, please leave now. And I'm serious, because I mean, me and Garrett have done shows like this before where we put, like, I think the Helter Skelter show, we put a warning before that, and then someone in the chat goes, "I can't believe you showed that."
Yeah,
you know, and it's like, so anyway,
we have to talk about it.
Yeah, we do. It's and it's something.
It's really important. Honestly.
Yeah, Real Chill Graz did a great video last night on the dangers of catfishing, and you should go check that out and talk to your children, because I had no idea.
I got 3 daughters, man.
I know.
So that's like,
yeah, and you got young daughters.
12.
My granddaughters.
12-year-old, yeah. So
it's scary, man. And I had no idea, Garrett, how many chat rooms are out there. And like this one, I can't remember what it was called, but it was like, it said 10-year-olds chat with whatever.
Right.
Well, that's a great feeding ground for, pedophiles.
Well, like what is fun, it's not funny, but I mean, circling back around to when we started this, early on, this is just a conversation we had earlier, but early on, I was saying catfishing situation, right?
Yeah.
And you didn't realize it at the time. You found out today that it's because I've been watching a show called Catfish on MTV for like 10 years. So I was like, oh man, this is really dangerous. This is really dangerous.
It is. I had no clue. And especially, I did, there's 194 pages. Thank you, Kevin and Anya.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead?
Yeah,
real quick.
Listen, let me just say what we're gonna do something that's gonna be a little different today. We are gonna go through Kevin and Anya's murder sheet recreation, and we're gonna stop it at certain points. We're gonna discuss it. Now, it took me a lot to get them to agree to this, right?
Right.
We
respect them so much because of their diligence and their hard work. So.
Right. So it was several emails back and forth. I finally convinced them to let me do this.
Because we're awesome and we're going to be respectful.
Well, it was tax week and I had to do everybody's taxes. And, I could have printed all 194 pages and highlighted this and that, or put it up on the computer, which I'm bad at.
Well, they did a great job, man.
They did a wonderful job.
It's so well produced, and shout out to them for sure.
But I will say this, guys, it was very hard for me to get Murder Sheet to agree to this, because they don't usually let anybody use audio clips. They'll let you use like that transcript.
Right.
But the audio clips. So don't try this at home for if you guys.
Yeah,
it's not easy.
And
it's not easy,
because we have covered this case a lot, though. Like I was telling you, but we're not like totally Delphi channel. Obviously, everybody that follows us and that's in here probably knows that. But we have covered we spent a significant amount of time on our show talking about this case. What would you say? What would you estimate? 18, 20
maybe
hours?
Yeah, we got a lot of shows on it. But I mean, a good thing is I'm glad we don't cover it exclusively.
I can't. We're like freaking out before the show, guys,
and especially now that and guys, I think we're getting to the end of this thing. I think we're going to see some.
Yes, I do too.
And also the big news is they ISP or not, is it ISP? They're doing anyway. They're doing an investigation in France now with this Anthony Shots thing. So supposedly, I guess they're going to ask for transcripts from a company that's out of France, is what I understood.
Right.
I could be wrong, but yeah. So thanks to the murder sheet for this.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it, you guys. But like I said, man, it was
love you guys.
It was a million emails between
Yeah
before they decided. Okay,
but we honestly though something that like a feather in our cap is we have a great relationship with our guests.
We do.
Like it's a long lasting thing. So yeah, no, thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
Do you want to should we introduce Moon?
Well, let's show Pam Cam.
Dude, finally. Oh yes, Pat. I put it in there earlier.
All right, Pat, if you're on there, we have dun Pam Cam.
Yes. I love it so much.
And yeah, she's watching the delayed version. She'll see it here in just a second. And we also have a guest. And it's not like we're interviewing. This is a person who
kind of like Single 7.
Yeah, kind of like it'd be like Single 7. And
Subject
by the way,
matter
guys,
expert.
let me say real quick, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
please.
Please pray for Single 7. He's having some major health issues. He's not doing real well. So please send Single 7 good vibes if you can.
Absolutely good energy.
Okay. So anyway, we're going to bring on Moon Girl. She's a friend of me and Garrett's, and she is obsessed with this case like everybody.
She's going by a pseudonym because of obvious reasons regarding this case.
That's right. So, hey, Moon Girl.
Hi, how are you guys?
We are good. Thanks for joining us on this.
Oh,
okay.
Well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
No problem. So let me say this too, guys. This show, like I said, it's not going to be monetized because there's a lot of foul language in it. I'm going to try my hardest. I put down little key points of where I need to cut it off. And I'm going to let Garrett maybe do that for me, so that way I can blame him if it gets through. But there's some stuff that we just don't need to hear it. And some of the search stuff.
Yeah.
So I've got little key markers here for Garrett. He'll have to.
I'll help you. Hang on.
Yeah, help me out. So if I mess up, you guys, and you hear something disgusting, I apologize in advance. It's not what I want. I'm trying to make this work so we all can just discuss the case. But anyway, again, hats off to the murder sheet for letting me use this. If this goes well, we'll do part 2 next week of the second part of the interrogation. We're just gonna. I mean, I'm hoping we can get through this.
This is gonna go well.
I quit talking. So I got to go down here and let's see. I got to share the screen.
You can do it, Keith.
I can.
You've been doing great on your technical side of things.
You're just saying that.
No, really. I'm proud of you.
Okay, so I'm trying to get over here.
Okay.
Let's see. We want this one. I'm gonna hit share. Okay.
Make sure you're at the right spot.
And let me go back and make sure it's there.
520.
So you got So.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to start it at Moon Girl, Pam or Garrett, or anybody in chat. At any moment, you want me to pause it and you want to bring up something, that's what this is all about. Because, I mean, Kevin and Anya already kind of, they stop and they talk about it. But there may be things you guys hear that they didn't discuss, and as well as us. And I put down a few little key points.
We talked about this for about 15 hours. Got it.
Yeah. All right, so let's begin. Let's get started on this because it's like 50. I know it's an hour and 13 minutes long, but like I said, there's certain sections I'm cutting out. Here we go.
Okay.
You understand what's going on now. Obviously you have a problem.
Are you talking about all the stuff that was on those old phones? Is that what this is about?
The phones,
So like I told that, I can't remember her name. She was like I don't know, something with the child division. All those are old videos when I was underage.
Well, and I want you to, and I want to make it clear to you too, that we not only have watched your interviews,
right,
but we've personally gone through each device.
Right.
We've watched the videos.
Yeah.
We've seen the pictures. And I can tell you, you were not underage at the time, okay?
Of all the underage girls I talked to, I was definitely underage for any of those pictures that I got from them.
And that's not what the data that we have on the metadata of those images. I mean, they're time-stamped.
Right.
Login.
Yeah.
When we take that phone.
Yeah.
Get a lot of information off that.
Right.
Okay. I mean, it's been a little while, obviously, but.
And a few of those charges, can I see that again so I can ask?
Yeah. Which one?
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there. For one, first thing I want to say is, why does this guy not have an attorney? And if he does, I'm sure he does. But I mean, the law is you can do what you want. You can go against your attorney's word on this if you want to speak. Also, we have to take in consideration now this attorney's not protected him from the Delphi crime. He's just been hired for the child pornography. So legally, he can't represent him,
Right.
about that.
Yes.
So Kegan is free to do what he wants. So.
And were you thinking about?
It was like, I don't know. I can't remember. I'd have to. Sorry, my mind's going crazy right now.
I bet it is.
Like, what is
Mhm.
child exploitation? What is that? Like, I've never been with a child before or anything like that.
Well, it's not necessarily about being with a child, but when we go to when you're on is your Kick Chat 92, this was on your iPhone when you're trading back and forth.
Right.
Child porn images. That's exploitation of a child.
Okay. And obstruction of justice.
And we're going to get to all that, okay? But I need you to understand why.
Right. Yeah.
We're here, obviously.
Yeah.
And I'm just being honest with you. I mean, the underage thing, it's not correct.
Right.
Okay? 3 years ago, you were not underage.
Right.
And you were in possession of all of that as well.
Right.
So I know even in your last interview, I mean, you have a problem.
Right.
And you said it yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming problem like that does not just overnight correct itself.
No, you're right. I moved to Las Vegas and I tried to completely change my life and yeah, and then fell on hard times, not having a good job and stuff. So I had to move back. But yeah, I mean, haven't done any of those stuff since then. That was a real wake-up call.
Now we're going to get into an area that causes a great deal of confusion. Where exactly did Kegan Kline live at different times? Our only source for his whereabouts is Kegan Kline himself, and he is far from a reliable narrator. With that in mind, let's hear what he has to say on the subject and go back.
Oops, sorry about that. So let me stop that right there. How many people, put in the chat room, how many people think that Kegan was in Las Vegas? Or do you think he's lying? Put a 1 if you think Kegan is lying, or put a 2 if you really think Kegan was in Las Vegas.
Back to the transcript. And we have made a small edit in this section, removing the address of Kegan's then girlfriend. When did you move to Vegas?
I'm not sure what. It was about 2 years ago. Well, no, I got back about 3 years ago, probably. I don't know. I think June, maybe. Right after my birthday sometime. It was right after that.
June of 2017?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know where you are currently living now? Where's your residence at? Okay, so that's with your girlfriend.
Well, I stay with her sometimes. I mean, I just bounce around, really. I mean, she lets me stay there as much as I need to.
Okay, so June 2017, moved to Vegas. Where'd you stay out there?
I had an apartment.
An apartment?
Yeah.
Next, there is some talk about where exactly Kegan Kline claims to have lived in Las Vegas. We have to cut out the address Kegan Kline gave police because we don't want anyone getting doxxed or harassed over having the misfortune of living there now.
You'll note that we ran an episode debunking many of Kegan Kline's claims about working glamorous jobs in Las Vegas. In the 2020 interview with police, Kegan Kline also claims to have lived with someone out there. He implies that name in the interview. We have edited out, and we refer to that individual as friend number 1.
Live by yourself?
No, I had a friend that I moved out there with.
Okay. What did you do for employment out there?
A lot of stuff, really. We had a little medical marijuana business that we would do a delivery service with and stuff.
A lot of money in that, isn't there?
Yeah, there was. Yeah. A lot of elderly people, that couldn't leave their house.
Okay, I'm going to pause it right there.
Okay.
Moon, you still with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, yeah. One thing I wanted to stop. He talks about this marijuana business he had in Las Vegas. Anya and Kevin called a bunch of dispensaries, and no one's ever heard of this guy. So And again, also, he said for a while he was a blackjack dealer or something like that. And the murder sheet called all the casinos, never heard of this guy.
Right.
So this guy's definitely he's lying about being in Vegas, I believe. Okay.
Yeah, I don't
she's about to say
personally believe that he lived in Vegas. He may have taken a trip there for
Yeah, I
sure.
think that's a good point. I think because he's got that picture of him and his dad when they went out there, and I'm not sure if anybody knows the date of that. But they just went out Moon. They just went out there for a trip, right? And then coming back. It wasn't to live necessarily.
What the pictures that you see where they're taking the trip, this is where it gets confusing to me. Is that when they took the short trip from the 21st of February 2017 to the 25th? So I'm wondering where it looks like there's a picture of them standing near maybe the Hoover Dam.
That's what it looks like the
Keegan-
Hoover Dam.
Yeah.
It does.
Keegan's wearing the baseball jersey. Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
that's Troy, my partner.
Hey, Troy, how you doing,
What's
buddy?
up, Troy?
Troy.
Good, I'm good, thank you.
He doesn't
You
really
bet.
follow this, but he's starting to now. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's
I like
just
to think about truth and what's going when people are full of it, so it's interesting.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
It is.
yeah.
That's what got
Yeah,
me
it's
excited,
crazy.
man.
He's definitely full of it.
Oh yeah.
okay. So there's a part coming up here in about 2 minutes that I'm going to have to cut out. So Garrett's going to watch for that time
I got you.
because it gets into some pretty graphic stuff that just isn't necessary to listen to. So let's continue.
Didn't want to get around and stuff like that.
What caused you to move back?
I just couldn't afford it. I mean, rent was so expensive and just everything in general just so expensive out there.
So yeah, I could definitely see it being more expensive out that way too.
Oh yeah.
And my goal today, I mean, we want to try to, of course, get you to understand everything that's
Right. Yeah.
going on. And I think there's some things that we need to clear up too. In your original interview, I mean, obviously you said it was a problem that you had, and
Yeah.
so you're saying it was a pretty big wake-up call. And
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I never really had a problem with the police ever in my life.
Kegan Kline then gives an account of an alleged minor brush he had with the law when he was a juvenile.
We do not believe it is appropriate to share details of a person's juvenile offenses, not even when those accounts seem to be self-serving. The officers in the room quickly changed the subject back to the charges Kegan Kline currently faced, focusing on his claim that he had stopped engaging in those sorts of behaviors after the house he shared with his father was searched in 2017.
As for the child pornography stuff, I mean, you just stopped?
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, when I realized how serious it is,
Okay,
you don't think about it when you're talking to 16 and 17-year-old girls, and then you realize when that knock comes at your door, hey, shit's not a joke.
what we can do now then, since I mean you haven't viewed it since then or
No,
anything like that,
no,
would you then give us consent for your phone?
yeah.
The police then start going through a number of devices linked to Kegan Kline and obtain his permission to search them all. After they completed their survey of all those devices, Kegan Kline signed a document giving written permission for them to be searched. These officers were going by the book. They were doing everything just as it was supposed to be done.
During the
Okay. So basically what you're going to miss is it just talks about they moved to Vegas. He said he moved with a friend to Vegas, had a weed business and they used to go to Los Angeles to get the supplies and supposedly bring them back to Vegas. I don't know if the murder sheet has checked with LA. Some of the
I'm sure they
supply.
have.
I'm sure they have. Yeah. Well, they called Vegas and
Yeah.
found out they don't even know who this guy
They're
is.
legit.
And yeah, they said, thank God he never worked for us after they found out what he was accused of. So June through August, September 2019, he became an ordained minister online. He married his mother in Young America, which is only 25 miles from Delphi, guys.
Yeah.
Can you clarify that statement?
What's that?
He married his mother.
Okay,
Yes,
yeah.
his mother.
May
go
I?
ahead.
May
yeah,
I?
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so he became an ordained minister.
You can do that online.
And he didn't, yeah, Kyle or Larry married,
Larry did the
remember?
same-
Yeah.
right, right.
But he also did other marriages too. That wasn't the only one. But what's crazy is he keeps referring to young America. And I guess that's like a little plot of land outside Kokomo. Now, does the location of Kokomo ring a bell to anybody?
Yeah,
Delphi people?
yeah.
Mm.
That one guy, remember?
Well, there's a lot
the
of yeah,
gang in Kokomo, just
Yeah.
seedy. So
right. So let me go back a little bit. I'm trying, guys. I'm sorry. Just bear with me. This is really hard to do.
you're good. You're good.
So we'll play it from there.
That you had mentioned about when we were talking about the child porn. You said it kind of was a wake-up call when you were talking to these girls that were how old?
I don't. The youngest I ever knew of was 16.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again, and this is going to be important that you know, and I put it on the table and I've told you,
Right.
of course, I've watched your interview,
Right.
Before, and I've gone through all the phones. So, from here on out, it's very imperative and very important that you're 100% truthful.
Right. Yeah.
Because you read the charges, you understand this.
Right.
This is significant.
Right.
Okay. And I'm going to tell you that going through the phones, it's not the case. Okay? And I have it here and we'll go through it. And for instance, you had mentioned the exploitation thing.
Right.
And I mean, that's right here in this chat, this Kick Messenger chat, which was on your Apple iPhone. Do you remember what your Kick Messenger name was?
I don't even know. I'm not sure. I think it was my name, then maybe a number or something.
Wasn't anything else?
No, I think maybe Kegan Kline, I don't know. My name, I think, and something.
So your Kick Messenger accounts were all in your name?
Yeah.
You're 100% sure about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let's stop right there. One thing that's interesting to me, and Moon Girl, you can pop in here, or Pam, or anybody who's listening to this. Why does this guy have so many phones? I mean, are we using these as storage devices to keep the porn on, or are we too afraid to turn these phones in to trade them in for a discount on your next phone because of the porn that's on it that could be found, right?
What do you think, Moon?
I think I just recently exchanged phones myself and trying to get a discount on my old phone. I think it's used as storage, and also I think it's both. I also think
both.
I think it's also to be able to go back to other phones and use them to search internet, and
which would make the whole thing a little more difficult for law enforcement, wouldn't it? I mean, if you're
Like
switching between,
Yep. Like
whack-a-mole.
yeah,
well, it's something that we actually talked about in length in maybe the second or third episode on Delphi we did, where we talked about coming through the digital evidence and how long that could take, right? And so
yeah, Garrett actually talked to, was it
FBI agent,
FBI agent. He said when it's go ahead
catfishing.
and go ahead.
Yeah, like when it's a catfishing thing, obviously there's a lot of ways to throw it off. So coming through that evidence, so you think five devices, and then he had Kick, and I'm sure he had Instagram and Facebook, all the social media. I mean, he had like an entire operation going.
Yeah,
no wonder he was broke.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like a full-time job, right?
And
he had female accounts, which we'll get to, but so he was, he was staging these things. It's insane.
Right, and
It's insane.
yeah, that whole thing,
It's insane.
with the multiple phones just didn't make. I was like, what?
Do you get it now?
You get a big discount when you turn your phone in.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, exactly.
but I think, like I said, he's either just horrified. I mean, because if you turn a phone in, it's just full of porn.
Yeah, dude. I'm pretty sure. Well, I was gonna tell you, and Moon, tell me if I'm wrong, because I kind of I keep my old ass phone. I like it. I'm like a caveman chimpanzee. But whenever you change a phone in, don't they take it to the back and Like if you want to save things or delete it, I think you give the phone to somebody, right?
Yeah, they can put whatever's on that phone onto your other
Right.
phone. But
Yeah.
but Kegan's not going to want
Well, he's not
that.
an idiot.
No.
He knows how to do this stuff. He's navigating these networks.
Well, like I
stuff.
said, we've got a good case for him to kind of confuse law enforcement with using different phones. That kind of throws him off a little bit, I'm sure. And then he has this ultimate storage of pornography at his fingertips, right?
And I just want to interject here. And I also think that when you're a predator like that, you're going to want to save all of that information so that you can go back to it and relive that experience.
Absolutely. That's a great
Right?
point. Yeah,
So-
absolutely.
Like a trophy, right?
That is a great point.
And I want
right?
to say thank you to Mama Libra Scales. I hope I didn't mess that up. KK went out to Las Vegas with his father on a trip. Later down the road, he did move to Las Vegas with friend number one. This was verified in an interview with friend number one's mother on another channel. Very good. Thank you so much,
Okay,
Mama.
that's great. to
That's
know.
awesome.
Hey, I want to throw this up there really
Okay.
fast because we have dispensaries here in Oklahoma now, Pat, and so I get it.
Yeah,
That's
it's
a great point.
To be fair, I've done armed security for dispensaries in San Diego, all cash, no names. Even though it's legal, it's still shady. If you called a place in San Diego, no one know who I. Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
yeah, but with your arms, yeah, I get it. I get it.
I just want to say that I don't. He may have moved out there with friend one, but the question is how long was he living there? And when it gets to TK, Tony Kline, the father,
Yes.
it's curious to know why he would post on his Facebook account that he's very proud of his son and he's moving back and he hasn't, seen his son for almost 2 years because he's been working in Delphi. So that's very odd.
Yeah, which I think we pretty much know that's a lie.
Yeah, of course.
Which even makes it even more suspicious that Tony and Kegan are both involved in this whole thing.
Well, yeah, because Tony is clearly lying publicly on social media and alibying Kegan.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and can you believe he named his son after a strip bar? The Kegan Stein was one of his favorite strip bars, so he named him Kegan after Kegan Stein.
The kid didn't stand a chance.
Yeah, Kegan Stein.
Yeah, just sick. So okay, so let's continue on here. And like I said, guys, if I accidentally missed something, it is what it is, guys. It's true crime. This is real life. Sorry, I know it, but like I said, if it offends you, then please leave.
So, I mean, did anyone else have access to that phone or?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I didn't have a girlfriend or no one ever uses my phone or nothing like that.
And again, I know you had talked about making fraudulent accounts.
Right.
And what fraudulent accounts have you made?
Like on Instagram, I would make stuff like that to try to,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And on Kick?
I don't think I wouldn't send pictures of myself.
Mm-hmm. But we're talking about the names in that.
I don't think so. I think it was always my name and then like maybe a number, something like that.
Okay. And like I said, I mean, want you to know I have these chats sitting right in front of me. So
right.
Where did the name Emily Ann 45 come from?
Oh yeah. That was some random name that I made up. Yeah.
Okay, so did you make that one?
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Okay, and tell me about it. And
right.
again, I know you remember these things, okay?
Anybody think maybe Tony Kline made that one?
I really
because I've gone through all this and I want you to be clear on that.
Right.
I mean, I've gone through every device.
Right.
Every chat. So I need you to be honest.
Right.
Okay, because I mean the line is it doesn't do us any good, right?
I'm not lying.
But I know you know the Emily Ann name.
I really
didn't.
I mean, it's been how long?
This is pretty
years.
Big.
Right.
Persona that you built for Emily Ann. I mean, it is.
What do you mean?
As in, talking to other girls and talking to other people. I mean, Emily Ann obviously has a story behind her, right? Does that make sense?
No, I don't know what you mean by that. No. What do you mean, a story?
Let's step away from the transcript for a moment to make a quick note. Remember that Emily Ann was a persona linked to Kline that also came up in the probable cause affidavit released by Wish TV in December of 2021.
In this interview, Kegan Kline and the police used the names of the people or personas that Emily Ann was chatting with. All of these people claimed to be underage girls. We suspect that at least some of them were actually adult male pedophiles pretending to be underage girls. In any case, we are redacting all of their names and will refer to them.
And then how would you know that? You know what I mean?
Well, you wouldn't.
Yeah, I
That's-
mean, and how risky is that too? At the same time, you know what I
What do you
mean?
mean risky?
Well, what if you were an undercover cop?
Oh no, for sure.
You know,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I mean, to take that risk of, I mean, basically, you know, a lot of these girls, he thought he was talking to girls, but he knew they were other pedophiles, and they were just switching pictures. Back
Yeah,
and forth.
exactly. Yeah.
They were trading
Right,
photos.
right.
Yeah. Another thing I kind of wonder about if he was, you know, if he's selling them on the black market or, you know, making a little extra money.
Yep,
I don't
could've
know.
been.
I don't know how the black web work or
I
dark
don't
web
either, man.
works anyway.
As girl 1, girl 2, etc. Let's go back to the transcript.
Well, we'll go through this first since it's right here. So this is a chat that was 5/15/2016 to 5/17/2016. And this is between Emily Ann and Girl 1. Girl 1 messages, "Hey, sup." Emily Ann, "So what kind of pics?" Girl 1, "Whatever you want." Emily Ann, "LOL, age?" Girl 1, 13 to 16. Emily Ann, "Oh." Girl 1, what do you have? You send an image here, which the first image is a Caucasian female
gonna play this
exposing
part?
her breast.
Do you want to?
Where are we at?
It had
You should-
water
yeah,
across the
let's just
chest
go ahead
and
and-
a
No, it's
caption
okay.
that said,
Okay.
like this. So we get down a little bit further into the chat, and Girl 1 says, "LOL, like I mean what ages?" Emily Ann, 45, "A lot, what about you?" Girl 1, 3 to 16, what's your youngest? Emily Ann, "I don't know, LOL."
That's crazy.
Emily Ann, "You send your youngest." They send a picture of a 13-year-old. Emily Ann, "Damn, she's hot." Emily Ann, "Any videos?" Girl 1, "Yeah, LOL, your turn." Girl 1 sends a video, or it was an image that depicted a Caucasian female, 13 years old, taking a picture in the mirror. She was completely nude, turned away from the mirror, and exposing her
Okay.
There we go.
Hang on.
Yeah.
A second. Let me
butt
get
and
through that,
posing.
guys. Sorry.
And Emily Ann's response was, "Damn, that's hot as fuck."
Yeah, I don't remember any of that. And that's me being 1000% honest with you. I mean, like I told him the last time, I did talk to a lot of girls. So, I mean,
Hey, Moon, do you think this guy's a pathological liar?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I do too. He's so full of crap, man. It's just
He's constantly
constantly
backpedaling.
lying, and
Yeah.
all his friends have said the same thing too. That Kegan always was lying about everything. So
I also think that when your handiwork is so prolific and you're sending out hundreds, when you're trying to troll and illicit children, I don't even think he can keep up with the amount of lies. So when he says he doesn't remember it, I think there's part truth there and also lies, because he can't keep up with the lies and the truth. And I think that everything that he's done is very, I think he has sent out mass amounts of
But he's clearly a pedophile and a story.
well, yeah, of course he is a pedophile. And we haven't gotten to that part yet, but the part that I believe he is speaking the truth, I think, is coming up. You know what I'm?
Hey,
Yeah.
tell Troy to get closer to the mic.
Okay, Troy,
Troy, get in there, buddy.
It's
you
fine.
need to come in here. He's very
Dang, where's he
he's
at?
very
He's like-
He's like in the other
We're
room.
probably in a-
Jeez, Moon.
Yeah,
You don't have to be mean to him.
you're probably ruining his favorite
You're
show.
like, Troy, go to the back room.
yeah.
See, that's how the women
Yeah,
do it,
sorry.
right?
At least that's how the women in our family do it.
Troy, come in here. Anyway, so I wanted to say that sorry, Troy. I wanted to say, because he's so new to this, that he just jumped in quickly and he's like,
That's
it's
fine.
obvious, right?
Yeah, that's fine. Hey, man, this is like I said. This is a laid back
Well, it's good.
YouTube show.
We jumped
We're
in
not
the
comparing
same.
ourselves to the other Delphi. The other Delphi guys are great. They just sink everything into this. Where Garrett and I just can't emotionally do it.
Right.
Yeah.
We were having a hard time.
I know.
before
I had
this.
a hard time even coming on tonight with some of the disgusting stuff that was on there. But
Oh, it's so hard.
yeah, it needs to be talked about, though.
It does. It does. And the
Whoa.
thing about it is, like, because you kept saying, like, you kept questioning Keith, like, man, is he lying? And it's like, because he's really good at it, honestly.
Yeah, it's very good.
But he
Yeah.
had so much practice, did he not? Look how much
He
how many
lied
people
his-
he was catfishing.
Yeah, he lied his whole life.
Yeah, he's wonderful
Yeah.
at it. He's
Guys, if I can just make an interjection.
yes.
Sure.
In the previous audio, there was something about Murder Sheet said they wouldn't share the earlier offense audio but nevertheless it was self-serving. Me personally, I think that's highly significant. That even at that young age of whatever he was up to there, that they wouldn't share.
Oh, got it. Yes. Yes. I know what you're talking about.
Reflected self-servingness, and
Yeah.
that they mentioned it. And so my next point is that if he's self-serving, then he's narcissistic, and it really lends itself to what's been taking place.
Absolutely.
The other thing is Troy. Is an English teacher, and he really
I can tell.
was. But anyway, linguistics is really important because
Yeah, which we're going to get into here in a little
studying
bit.
like truth and lies.
Yeah, I love studying language. And
For sure.
Yeah.
I
And
actually have a
his answers are very odd too. When he says, "Did you do such and such?" He says, "I don't think so."
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
so vague.
Also, guys, if I can add, I can't remember.
yeah.
Because you
Yes.
can't remember doing something, of course, doesn't mean it didn't happen, right?
Right. No, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
His choice of words
So
is
that's
rhetoric.
when people start to do that, it's like a dead giveaway, right?
Right.
Well, yeah, they're
Yeah.
back. That's what I said earlier. They're like backpedaling and parrying off the questions. You know what I mean?
Like trying to intellectually mess with people. It's like, oh, you're lying.
But
Right.
do you think because he was sent? Sorry, that's my crazy
Is that a bird?
alarm.
He's got something to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, every hour it goes off on the hour.
With
A
a
different
different
bird
bird.
chimes.
Cool.
I'm getting used to it now. But do you both think that because he was sending out so many messages to as many girls online,
he was fishing.
yes, that he literally there's truth and lying, so a mixture of both amnesia and lying,
Yeah.
but because he can't honestly remember
Because
all of
he's
it
chronic,
because
right?
it's
It's
so
going on.
chronic.
Right. It's an
know
addiction
what I
and it's
mean?
chronic. Well,
Yeah, it is. And
And
he's been
he's
doing
acting-
it
he's
for so
acting like
many
a-
years.
he's
Yeah.
acting like a female. And he's acting like a male, and he's acting different ages. And he's got
Yeah.
different background stories, and he's got. I mean, that's a lot. I don't even remember my kids' birthdays most of the time.
I can't believe he said that on air. But
They're cool with it. They're cool with it. But you know what I'm saying? That's a lot. Like that's a very valid point.
yeah. All right. Well, let's get back to it.
Okay.
That was 4 years ago. I don't remember any of that.
But I mean, this is not a like talking to another girl. This is a exchange of child pornography.
Right. Yeah. No, I don't remember.
Likely a male. It's most likely
Right.
2 males,
Right.
2 female names on Kick,
Right.
exchanging graphic child pornography. Girls that are like 5 years old.
What?
Yeah, very young. Like very young. So how
Yeah, that's not me.
how could you not remember that, man?
Yeah, exactly. That is not me. I would never. That is, I swear to God, that was not me.
Then you need to
Can I
come
have-
up with
can I
who
have
else had
projector?
access to that device.
Yes. Let me
Fuck.
go ahead.
When honestly, my true sense, this is just my sense of, he sounds surprised there, and I don't think that he's interested in girls that are pubescent. I think that it's 12 and up, but he seems very like, no, that is not me. That's the line that he has some kind of twisted, he can't see that 12, you know, but
Right.
Yeah,
any,
yeah.
but
Can I add to
yeah.
that? Can I add to that?
Yeah.
For me,
Sure.
that is not me as a tell. It's a tell. When people say that is not me, you know, it is that person.
Oh, so you
I see
actually
it as a
do
tell.
think?
Yeah, I do. Well, no, I that language is for me. That is not me because it's like an intellectualization of the.
I like both. I honestly like both perspectives, and either one could be true, honestly, in this scenario. Because if it's one side of the pancake, then Tony could be the one. If what Moon is saying is true, then he's drawing the line in the sand and saying, I can justify 12 and up, but I cannot. That is not me. That must be somebody else.
Yeah.
Right. Which he'll go on.
You know, it'd be interesting. It's eventually it's going to come out after this goes to court. I would love to see the video of this to see. I mean, in the behavioral panel, that's a show I watch. I'd love for them to watch his reactions,
Body
language to see. You know, when he acts so sincere about, man, that's not me. No way.
Right.
Absolutely.
But the
Because
other side
there's
of the
so much-
pancake,
But that's
like Troy was saying, though,
You know,
there's another side of the pancake.
what's his body saying when
Yeah.
he's saying that?
Right. Well, that would be a huge. But the other side of the
That's
pancake, like
cognitive
Troy is saying, is, you know, a lot of times these narcissistic people will say things like that. You know, we see it all the time. We watch psychopathic movies, right?
Right.
And so it's there's two sides of the pancake for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't. That was 4 years ago. I don't think anyone, but fuck, I don't. I never like maybe 15, 14 maybe, but
We're talking.
again, no kids.
We're talking.
No fucking.
Shocking.
No, definitely fucking not.
There's a ton of it.
Right.
And that's resulted in this charging document. There's a ton of it.
Right.
So who else could have potentially used these accounts and your phone?
I mean, I stayed with that guy that I moved with before I left with him, but I mean,
Okay, but we're talking in this is
right.
2016 when you were.
That's what I'm saying, before I moved.
Right.
Yeah, for Vegas.
And I want to be clear that this is the iPhone 4.
Right.
And the iPhone's name was Kegan's iPhone.
Right.
And you would have been 22 at the time, and it was secured with a PIN code. And I mean, it's all your
Right.
Your email addresses, your account information, your fraudulent account information, okay?
Yeah, but
So
what I'm saying is, what if he used my Kik without me knowing or something?
he would have to know your passcode.
Right.
Right. And who
My buddy that I moved with, because I mean,
that was before that.
I know,
And who gives their passcode to people, you know?
Yeah.
but I'm saying I stayed with him in 2016 up until I left. I mean, I stayed with my dad a lot too, but I mean, I was at his house a lot too.
Well, I'm telling you.
And he has kids and stuff.
At this point, Kegan Kline gives the ages of friend one's kids. Since that is identifying information, we are deleting it.
We will say that both kids are 3rd grade or below. When their ages are referred to in the transcript, we would just call them 2 young kids.
You two moved to Vegas with 2 kids?
Yeah, I mean,
Did he have access to your phones?
I mean, yeah, he could have. I mean, I stayed at his house a lot. I mean, we did drugs and stuff. I mean, I wasn't saying, I have
Stellar
no
parenting.
But I mean, I don't think
Yeah.
2 young kids are going to be on Kik exchanging child pornography.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, he had kids. So, like, you know what I mean?
No, what are you saying? Really?
Why would I be doing that around one of my best friends? You know what I'm saying?
Well, that doesn't.
I mean, if I was going to do that, why?
You can't really. Don't try to talk
No,
your way around.
I'm not getting what I'm getting. What I'm saying.
Then tell me
Okay.
or explain it to me.
So what if he was using my phone? You know what I'm saying?
I understand that,
Yeah.
but he would have needed your password to do that.
Which that ain't no big deal. I give my password to a lot of people.
Who else have you given your passcode to?
Yeah.
At this point, Kegan Kline tried to suggest that he could have given his password to a couple of other people, including his roommate's girlfriend.
The police were having none of it.
Look, I'm going to tell you right now
Because she was over there too,
that in your interview,
right?
you admitted that you had this problem,
Yeah, like I
okay?
talked to
And
a lady about it. Yeah,
yeah, and there was no, well, I do give my stuff to. You owned up to it and
well,
admitted talking to girls, and
right.
even in your polygraph that were under 16. They deliberately asked you, what if a girl told you they were under 16, and
Right,
your exact words were, I would probably still talk to her.
right.
So don't,
But that doesn't mean
Kegan, listen
14 and 13 does not
to me.
mean a little kid that's 3 or whatever you said.
Okay, so
Yeah, that's crazy. I had to stop it right there. I mean, he doesn't distinguish between. I mean, what's the difference? It's a little kid. You know? Just disgusting.
then it's so
That's totally different.
he took your phone for this part, but then when you asked to do you have any 9 to 13 fuck videos,
Yeah, I didn't.
that would be in
About that.
that age.
Yeah, that is not me.
Because Emily Ann responded, I do. So you're telling me that you had 9 to 13 fuck videos on your phone. They were on your device.
I had them on the device.
Listen, on the device.
Like
That is not
doesn't
true.
know.
So you wouldn't know about the.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, it's true.
I have no clue about any of that. No.
We have been through that phone.
Right.
We've been through all the phones. But we're not allowed to lie to you about this.
Right.
That is on your phone.
And why would I tell them they could keep my phones if I have stuff on it like that?
You didn't have a choice. They served a warrant. Yeah, they served.
I mean, they asked me for them.
I know.
But you could have.
He's so
You
stupid.
could have told them no.
I mean, I have nothing to hide, so
But what I'm telling you right now is if I let Deputy Clinton have my phone
right,
and use my phone
right.
and I take it back, I'm going to know that there's 9 to 13 fuck videos
Yeah,
on my phone.
right. Yeah.
There's no way you didn't, okay? So again, we need the honesty.
I'm telling you, my honest, I swear to God.
So 5/17/2016, Emily Ann, who you admitted to making the Emily Ann account, and sends a photo to girl 1. It's a Caucasian female lying down. She's not wearing a shirt. She's exposing her breast, showing her mouth. Doesn't show the rest of her face, but it shows her chest. And you make the comment, she's only 14, haha. That's a 14-year-old that you would have talked to, right?
Right. That's the same conversation.
Same conversation.
I'm not saying I don't remember that. But I'm saying like I probably would have said that. Yeah.
Okay, so
I really honestly don't really remember talking to anyone because it wouldn't be like the same person. I wouldn't keep talking to the same person. You know what I mean?
right, when you're
Random people.
but when you're exchanging child pornography, that's obviously.
I hear what you're saying, but
And then when you're exchanging Dropbox links that go to your Dropbox, that's a different story too.
what do you mean? I never had a Dropbox.
Yes, you did.
That I sent links for? What do you mean?
But from your Dropbox account off your phone, we've started one of the largest child pornography investigations ever undertaken in the state of Indiana.
Well, you're okay, but that's not me. How did that?
Your Dropbox account
It's a shared link?
from your Dropbox link, right?
Not from mine. There's no way possible.
Yes.
Yeah,
There's
not from mine.
There's no way possible.
Yes.
Yeah, but he doesn't
not-
have one.
Great
You're
point.
do not have a
Good point,
Dropbox,
Jamie.
and now you're saying
I have a Dropbox. Not that I would send nudes.
Okay, so there's another lie. He says I don't have a Dropbox. Now he does have a Dropbox. So
And shit through.
no.
Say a lot of people have Dropboxes.
Are people that communicated with you or you shared images through your Dropbox link?
Yeah, no.
We start looking at those people and it just freaking spirals out of control to this major child pornography ring. Absolutely. And you even have it to the point where you're getting this child porn, you're sharing it with your Emily Ann account to your Kegan Kline Dropbox account. You can't tell me that the guy that you randomly lived with for a month knows your Dropbox password, knows your phone password.
Live with him for a month.
And then you also that's your primary phone, and you don't all the child porn's on it. Kegan, come on.
I swear to God, no. I mean, child porn technically is anything under 18. But yeah, no kids like that ever. You can show me anything you want. That doesn't mean that was me doing it.
It's your device.
Okay, that happened. I mean, that's probably happened to a lot of people. That doesn't mean that.
It doesn't happen.
Okay, someone shoots someone, and then they're with the person that happens a lot, and then they get charged for it, and they say that they killed them. That doesn't mean that they killed them.
Yeah, and that's why we asked you initially, is there anyone else that had access to your phones? And you...
Right, but that told me how little kids and shit. I've never done that.
So you're saying...
Obviously, is someone...
Your story changes.
Okay, I understand. Yes, of course it does, because I never did fucking stuff, little kids and stuff like that.
There's a lot of stuff with little kids.
Okay, that's not me.
Can I interject there?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Can I interject? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
For some reason,
no problem. That's what this is all about.
The computer crashed.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't know why, even though he's a pathological liar, something in that rings true that he is not interested in 3 and 5-year-olds. That is my
I agree with you, Moon, and like I said, we'll get later into this.
Okay,
No. I'm just going to I totally agree with you. I think it's somebody else. It's definitely not friend number one.
Yeah.
I think we all know who this other person is.
I do.
Yeah, absolutely, Troy. Me too.
Yeah, I pretty much know.
And we're asking you if it's not you, but
anything.
I'm in your corner on this, but you got to come off of it. Who else?
That's what I'm saying. He's the only person I was around. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so
that would be like that.
Let's go from here then. So who else has access to your phones from 2016?
That's it.
To now?
Him.
Only him?
Yeah.
Okay, so
that's literally it.
I'm going to write this down. So from 2016 to now.
Yeah, well, I mean, technically my girlfriend, now my phone.
Okay.
I mean, she knows my password and stuff.
Okay, 2016 to now.
Okay, that's got to be weird. I mean, if he's got, does the girlfriend know about this porn? I mean, if she's got his password, I mean, surely
she definitely doesn't have his password.
Yeah. He's saying she's got. She would be. I mean, any girl's got your phone is going to be looking for cheating, that kind of thing, snooping around, and so definitely he's definitely lying about this.
It's interesting also that everybody else seems to have his password like it's an open book, but when it comes to his father, oh no, he doesn't. Yeah,
he is absolutely throwing everybody under the bus.
Yeah,
except his dad.
I made a list earlier.
And Garrett's going to go over what. Yeah, he's throwing everybody under the bus, and
he blames everybody but himself.
Himself and his dad, absolutely. Because
the key point here is that he said a password is nothing.
Yeah.
Like, end of story.
Right.
Yes, but that applies to everybody, as Shauner's, saying.
Right.
And when you live under the same roof, all his dad has to do is, hey, Kegan, my phone has died. Can I please use your phone? What's your password? And I think that there's some, he's got loyalties, and I think there's also some definite power.
But it's also subconscious self-defense. He's subconsciously self-defending himself because he's up shit creek without the paddle. But
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But he did. There's somebody else involved, as who can only speculate who that might be.
Right. Absolutely.
At least in the Anyway, we'll go back to that. Thank you.
No problem. That's like I said. This is what this is for. Open discussion. Just anytime you need to speak, just tell me and I'll stop the video.
Okay.
His name.
Kegan Kline again names the person we refer to here as friend number 1.
Let's get back to the transcript.
We moved to Las Vegas, but before that time, I mean, I would stay with him all the time.
You moved in 2017?
Yeah.
Okay. And but then again, you said that you stayed with Dad, You said you very rarely stayed
Yeah.
with friend one.
Yeah.
Mainly.
But I mean, I'd stay with him. I mean, not like every day or nothing.
Did friend one stay with you at your dad's house?
No.
The investigators then returned to the chat they had been reading from before, the one between Emily Ann, one of Kegan's online personas, and an individual we're calling Girl 1. And then just to finish the Girl 1, sending another image after Emily Ann says they are like any age.
Yeah, I don't need to hear any of that.
We have to go through it. We do. We have to go through this. This is your device named Kegan's iPhone.
I understand that.
With your passcode, with your account information, it doesn't have friend one's information.
Bro, let's go ahead and...
I'm telling.
Okay, yeah, this part gets a bit graphic.
Do you want to go ahead and fast forward to the next spot?
I
so we
don't
pause
know
it?
because it is this part's kind of important.
Is this the part I think?
It's where he's talking about, hey, my dad, would you do this? Blah 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 for my dad. It's not. I can give him a lowdown on it, but it is important because at this point it kind of now brings Tony into this a little bit. Okay, so guys, I've decided this is horrible. I'm gonna play this. If you do not want to hear this,
I can I say this?
Yeah.
Actually, this was the first time today me hearing this and reading it, and it was so hard. It was really hard to read and hear.
Yeah.
But I also, however, saying that, I almost think that it's important to just, air it.
It is. It's
in
just,
case it rings true to somebody. I don't know.
guys, like I said, this next part's pretty graphic and it's hard to listen to. But like I said, if right now like Art Bell used to say, turn your radio off at this point.
Exactly.
It lasts about, 22 seconds, I think. And then, gosh, we got it from 50 to 39, so I think we'll be okay. But anyway, so guys, this is your last warning. I'm going to go ahead and play this because I do think it's important. This kind of ties what I believe. Now, I could be wrong. This kind of ties Tony into this thing. So, all right.
I agree with you.
Yeah, 3. You got 3 seconds to turn your volume down. 3, 2, 1. Again, it's about 20 seconds long.
I'm telling you that right now.
I understand that.
Okay. So when Girl 1 sends an image of a Caucasian female, 7 to 12 years old, taking a picture of herself in the mirror, she has her pants pulled down to her thighs, and she's sitting on the ground with her legs open, exposing and touching her own vagina. Emily Ann responds, "What a little whore, LOL."
Yeah, that's not me.
And you know what? We're actually had some people look at this, and they believe there are 2 people routinely speaking on multiple devices that are in your house.
That's the important part.
Because the phonetics are different, the phrasing's different,
Yes.
but this is over a period of time. We're not talking like this is isolated, like a week here and not here and not here. We're talking about over a period of time.
Okay, so let's stop it right there. I think that's an important part. The phrasing, they're saying this is 2 different people.
Right. And can I bring up one thing? Because I was initially, I was like, dude, don't play this. But now, since we've talked, I'm glad that we did. I'm going to tell you why on my end really fast is because of the new information that's coming out about these other social media platforms where they're looking for information.
Yeah.
So like Moon said, maybe if somebody hears this, because that's what they're looking for, right? They're looking for a connection between these and now to build these cases and to use the leverage. So I'm actually glad you played it as much as I hated it. So.
Yeah.
It might sound familiar.
Right.
But it also gives you an understanding of the depravity and the levity. It's hard to explain, but even though it was extremely difficult to hear and read, it's almost like you have to think like an investigator to sort of understand.
Yeah, and actually that one we just listened to is nothing compared to what's coming up, which is around 50 minutes and 39 seconds. I'll give another warning. Again, it's
I don't know. I think we can explain that one.
But the thing that stood out the most to me is when they basically said we feel that there's two different people speaking two different
Right.
personalities.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it would be interesting to know. I'm sure the FBI has hired an linguistic expert to
Oh,
study
sure. Yeah, of
the
course.
breakdown of that.
Yeah.
But I definitely think that there's two different people.
Yeah, that was important.
Okay. Let's go ahead and
Mhm.
continue.
The next one we can describe.
Well,
I'll describe
it doesn't come up till 5039,
Yeah.
and then I'll just kind of briefly describe. But that was kind of the one I was saying that I got mixed up. That one
that was-
coming
yeah.
up is the one actually that I think Tony maybe
Yes.
did the whole thing. Okay, so here we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's step away from the transcript for a moment to emphasize what the investigators have just said. They say they believe that two people are using devices that are linked to Kegan Kline, and they base this on the fact that the messages on that account use different phrasings and such. This is a highly significant point, and we want to ensure that no one missed it. Let's return to the transcript.
And again, you have to understand that, and I know you do. You're a tech-savvy person, okay? The phone's collected GPS data,
Right?
okay?
Yeah.
You probably know pictures are embedded with GPS as well. Yes?
And if I was doing that, I would not have VPN blockers and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm telling you right now that it's connected to the house that you lived at with your dad.
Right.
Not in Vegas with friend one.
Right.
And you just
Sorry about that. So boom, right there. That's important stuff.
said friend one wasn't there.
I mean, friend one's been to my dad's house. He hasn't stayed in my house.
He's been there, right?
Now on this part, if you notice, he completely just skips over the part that he lied about being in Vegas. Then he started saying, well, my friend comes to my house sometimes, and didn't explain the Vegas thing at all. So pathological liar here for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Again, let's step away from the transcript to call attention to what we are hearing. The times that police believe Kegan's devices were being accessed by a second person was during the period where Kegan Kline was living with his father, Tony Kline. Let's return to the transcript.
And I mean, I'm telling you, if I had a buddy come over to my house and I said, here's my phone, and he's
Yeah,
on it for, I mean, these are hour-long conversations.
right.
Kegan.
Okay, but if you're on drugs, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying
Oh,
I
please.
mean, we used to
That's
take
number 3 on
drugs
my
a
list.
lot together.
What type of drugs?
I mean, hard drugs where
Like what?
you're going to pass out. PCP, LSD, a lot, mushrooms.
So you've done it, you did that all the time or sometimes?
I mean, a lot, yeah.
How many people have passed out on LSD? Nobody. It's like pure speed.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
How many people have passed out on mushrooms? I
wish
mean,
you-
maybe if you take a lot, but for the most
You're
part, you're tripping.
seriously freaking
You're
out.
seriously
like,
freaking
out.
Yeah.
24
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
And I
But we're
will
not doing anything.
say this. This is coming from two people that actually have experimented a little tiny bit with
Yeah.
with LSD in our earlier years and mushrooms. Sorry, I
Yeah.
hope we don't lose any credibility, but
No, not at all.
No.
just a tiny bit, you know.
No, you're-
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
All
I mean, that LSD was big when I was growing up. I tried it myself, and
I'm trying to get me
was,
some ayahuasca and Peru soon, so
We'll
just don't worry
we'll
about it.
film that, Garrett, if you do that.
Yeah,
All
be
right, here we
Yeah.
go.
Okay.
Are you still, when's the last time you used
Oh, forever. I mean, I haven't. Like hard drugs? I mean,
any drug?
I mean, I smoke marijuana.
Still?
Other than that, yeah. But other than that, nothing.
Is there any narcotics or drugs in the house at all?
No,
Or in the apartment?
no. There's a bong. There's a bong, though.
Again, I mean, you're really gonna have to do some more convincing that a
Yep.
friend who randomly comes over and you guys get high together is taking your phone.
No, I totally get where you're coming from.
I don't think you do,
I totally do like that.
because I'm telling you right now,
Honestly, sounds really stupid. I get what you're saying.
there is a bit of a back and forth about girlfriend A, and then the investigators return to the illogic of what Kegan Kline is claiming. And every one of these devices that have your names on them, they're not one time a friend comes over and uses it, or just because a guy lives next door, he comes and uses it.
Right. The investigators don't let Kegan Kline think for a moment that they accept his absurd story that the other user of his devices was friend number 1.
Right now, so we can come back to the iPhone. There's a lot there. But I need you to understand that the stuff on the devices that we have again is I mean, we're clear that it's not your friend who's occasionally coming over. We'll get back to the Apple iPhone 3. This phone was named Keggy, is your nickname. You would have been 20 at the time, so again.
iPhone 3?
Uh-huh.
There's no way I would have been 20 at the time.
How old were you in?
I mean, I had that phone when I was in high school.
Yeah, how old are you now?
I'm 26.
So 5 years ago.
No.
Would have been what?
There's no way.
I'm telling you right now that the last time this device was used was 5 years ago. It was used up until 2015. Yeah, so.
Well, you can say what you want, but that's not the truth. And
well, I'm here, okay, and this is why it's so important.
Yeah.
I'm going.
It's amazing to me they have proof and he's still denying it.
I know.
Off a device.
Right. That has.
There's no reason.
That can be.
Listen to me.
At all times.
No.
Yes, it can.
Listen to me.
Okay.
I'm going off a device that has no reason to lie to me, okay? It goes into your phone.
You're talking to someone that has no reason to lie to you.
Kegan, you lied to the investigators. You're lying.
That is
Okay,
it. I
well,
know.
then why would it take 3 years for them to come and get me? What do you mean?
Because you don't understand.
Does that make any sense?
Like he told you how big this investigation is. I mean, this is
a
lot of child porn.
Oh my God. Okay. I have no. All right, whatever. I need a lawyer.
Okay.
Because I have no clue what. This is ridiculous. Because I did
And at this point, he probably should have got an attorney.
Yep, but
Yeah.
not have any images or videos of
He can't help
children
himself.
at all. I'm telling you that right fucking now. There's no way. If I shared a Dropbox, you know how Dropbox works. Obviously, you're a smart guy. But if someone sends it to me, the sender.
I need to interject there.
Are you going?
Yeah, I was
So-
going to go ahead.
Yeah. So earlier on, he sounds very surprised. He's at one part where he says, "What?" And a Dropbox. I know nothing about that.
Yeah.
And I think, if memory serves me, I think he's actually talking about the age 3 to 5-year-olds, the prepubescent pedophilia. He's like, I know nothing about that. He's actually sounds surprised that there was a Dropbox involved, and now he is basically saying, yes, you know how Dropboxes work. There was a Dropbox.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So it's really hard because at one point he almost sounds at some points believable. There must be a little bit of truth among those lies. So the problem with me is, where do you weed out the truth from the lies?
Right. And it's so hard to tell when you got a pathological liar who lies very well. But at the same time, I agree with you. He does, and I've heard Gray and some other people say the same thing, that he does actually sound surprised. Like,
Yeah,
he didn't know about the 3-year-old porn or
Yeah,
the-
he's like,
the
"What?"
underage.
yeah,
So which I think that tells everybody we kind of have a good idea who may be looking at the very, very young porn and Kegan looking at porn from 16 up.
Oh, I see.
yeah.
See what I'm saying?
I see what
Yeah.
you're saying. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I think I think that's what's going on. He's surprised. I mean, we don't know if he.
I know.
Yeah,
Like
but
I said, that ties into the subconscious. Like, no, but that's not.
Right.
Like covering for people, but also subconscious
Exactly.
expression of.
Yeah.
well, and to be fair though, isn't this? These are two people reenacting, like they didn't hear the actual
Yeah.
the actual interrogation, right? I'm trying to play devil's advocate here a little bit.
Yeah, I
That's
mean they're
actually-
putting their own inflections into
Right.
it, and like I said,
They
it's,
could have just been like, "Oh, draw by." Yeah,
But
you know.
I would say Garrett, words are words though.
No,
For
but I
sure.
but
And it
No,
doesn't-
no, no, no.
words
Yeah,
are words.
words are also words when you say them differently and in different
yeah,
cadences.
you need to hear the
I mean,
intonation and the body language.
say that. Yeah, I can tell my kids be quiet and it can be
Mhm.
fun, or I can be like I can say be quiet. You guys have seen it on your door cam.
yeah.
So no, I know I get it, words are words, but the way we speak to people is really important. And so in that interaction, I'd be curious to see how, like, was he surprised or are we just
I would think so, because if you think about
maybe
when you think about the answer what, I mean, I wouldn't say what. I would say what?
well, if you were
Yeah.
thinking about
What?
it, if you were thinking to lie, you wouldn't. He
Oh.
does it constantly.
Well,
He's
and-
constantly
right, and
adding
that's
in,
what I'm
yeah.
saying is we don't know. I mean, he's
Guys.
such a great liar. We don't know.
Exactly right.
But he-
Until
at
we
No,
the-
but
see it.
you brought up such a good point that because this isn't live on camera, that we can't actually look at his body language and see
Right.
when he says, "What? What are you talking about?" Where
Exactly.
if he's indignant,
Or
I
if he even
never
said
did
it like
that.
that.
You know,
He may have not even said it like that. It could be totally different
it could be
exchange.
like, "What?"
Right.
You
What are
know,
you talking about? Yeah.
what are you
So
talking? Yeah, exactly.
because I just wanted to play devil's advocate and kind of play that role really fast because we don't know still.
And there,
right?
Yeah.
and the
That's
murder
a very good
sheet,
point in terms of inflection.
the
For
murder,
real, like how you inflect on something.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
And
But at the
Anya,
same time, words are still words though.
and
Yeah,
Anya
they are,
and
yeah.
Anya and Kevin did an amazing job at reacting it
It's amazing.
it
Yeah.
out.
They
Um,
did. They
I
did.
just wanted to bring up that point.
And they
Well,
said that they did that in
Really?
one take.
You know,
Whoa, that blew me away that they did that in one take. The other thing that I wondered is I noticed that when Anya and Kevin were actually doing the reenactment, it would be, for example, question, and then Kegan would answer, and then the detectives would cut him off in sort of mid speech.
Mm-hmm.
And I wondered if that, I mean, that's how I'm hearing it, how it's read. And I'm wondering if that's what took place. Because anyway, what am I trying to say here? I felt a little frustrated because if the police were cutting Kegan off in mid sentence, I hope they didn't do that. I mean, they did the best that they could.
Right.
Just because I want to hear the answer. I want them to sing like a bird. You know, you want to hear
For
them
sure.
sweat and they pause and just let them speak, right? Did you find that they
Yeah.
were cutting him off a little bit? Or
Yeah. Some parts I did. But I
Okay.
mean, he's almost hung himself already and dug his own grave at this point.
Yeah.
But go, Pam. You had something you wanted to say real quick?
Well, I think vocally, inflection is our punctuation. And it's just like the phrase or statement you've probably seen on Facebook or social media somewhere before. Woman
What?
without her man is nothing. Or is it woman without her man is nothing?
Right. I get it.
know?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
you know, inflection in a conversation is absolutely important.
Yeah, and
Yes.
it's just
No.
it's going to be until we
Yep.
actually get to see the the video eventually going to come out as they get an indictment. I think we're close to getting an
Well,
indictment.
I love watching interrogations.
We got to keep this thing going.
We got plenty of time.
Yeah.
We're gonna have another
Yeah,
show.
if we can go. Well, the thing is, if we can go a little bit later
Hey,
tonight,
wait a
because
second.
what?
I'm gonna make this point really fast.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Is that love watching interrogations, and I hope we get to eventually see this one
We will.
because I hope that Moon and everybody's right, and he's like squirming in his seat.
At some point, they may just have to take this case on circumstantial evidence. I mean, the problem is, I don't think they have any physical evidence that ties them, or they would have been charged. I don't think the DNA is any good, or they would have been charged.
Yep.
But I definitely think these two people are involved. I think they're responsible for Abby and Libby's death. They're just trying. I think they're just trying to get the strongest
Mhm.
case, and they know this might be a circumstantial case. And
Yeah,
you got
some cases
one
are,
chance
man.
at it.
Yep.
So they're
Double
building all they
jeopardy.
can. Okay, let's continue.
All right. Okay.
And we may go a little bit later, guys, if that's okay, because we got to
Right.
finish this part one. Okay, and we still got quite a bit left.
going to
have some.
Are we going to clear this up, or
What do you mean?
because if you're going to keep talking,
Yeah, lawyer. Yeah,
you don't want to clear any of this up?
no. If you're telling me all this, no, I do not. I don't want to talk to you anymore.
You might need to hear it.
I really don't, because I've heard enough that's bullshit. So I don't need to hear any of it.
And you understand the charges that you're going to jail with right now?
Yep.
Okay. Lifeline is here.
I'm trying, yeah, but when you guys are sitting here telling me that I'm lying to you and I'm not,
Well, I'm going to tell you.
I have no reason to lie to you. That's why I have no reason to lie to you. If you watch the videos,
You can let us go through it all and explain it to you, so at least you understand. You have that opportunity. Are you? Nothing else we go through and you can listen. Because I'm telling you right now, just the level 4 child exploitations, just those stacked together, just those counts are 45 years in Indiana.
right.
That's not counting. There's 30 counts total.
Right.
So do you want to go through this and get charged with and take all of this? Because you are getting charged with this. All of this is being put on you. And if you don't want to hear everything that you're...
So I can sit in silence and not say anything?
If you want to keep talking to us, yeah.
Okay.
You want to keep talking to us?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Again, I have no reason to lie to you.
I understand. I'm sorry.
But
Acting the way I do. But I mean, that's...
if I didn't do something,
Right.
then that's what's...
Right.
So we would expect that. But you got to understand, we need an answer for this, right? Because it's either it's all you or it's you and someone else.
Right.
And really, that's like I said,
They told me that last time I was here too.
I wasn't here last time.
About
I don't...
killing 2 girls. That's what they said to me. They tried to say that I failed a polygraph, that I did it. Me or my dad. So do you understand how I kind of have like a kind of like presence where like, wow, these guys are bullshit artists. You get where I'm coming from?
It's
Jeez,
worth
man.
taking a step away from the
Yeah.
transcript to note that this is the first mention of the Delphi murders in the interview. Kegan Kline claims that the police told him he failed a polygraph and that they believe either he or his father committed the murders. That is clearly significant, but it is worth noting that we have a couple of layers here between what happened and what we are hearing.
First of all, police are allowed to lie in interviews such as this. They could have told Kegan Kline he failed the polygraph even if he had passed it. And second of all, this information comes from Kegan Kline, who clearly has a tendency to lie. So just the fact that he says he failed a polygraph test does not mean that he actually did so. With all of that said, the investigators realized at this point they were entering treacherous territory and wanted to remind Kegan Kline of his rights.
Right. And I just wanted to be clear, you do not want a lawyer at this time? You're still willing to talk to us?
Yeah.
Okay. But you have to understand from our point of view that we're going off the data of multiple devices, okay? And we do need to get to this because right now you are taking the heat and everything is being placed on you. So that's why it is important to go through this. Now, at any point that you want to be honest and say, look, guys, this was not on me, and I know it wasn't on me because of this.
I just did.
Jeez.
But I don't know who it is, but I'm telling you, I did not. Any children at all.
Okay, well, I'm just going to keep going through it then, okay?
All right. At this point, the officers read through one of the chats between Anthony Schatz and someone purporting to be a young girl. We are not going to read all these chat details on the program. Kegan Kline again tries to suggest that the person responsible for those chats is friend 1. The officers are skeptical.
Was that something that you and friend 1 shared? Was that you guys shared child porn together?
No, never. We never talked about anything like that.
So when you were talking to these girls that were 14, 15, I mean, where would you be at the house?
What do you mean, like?
Like, I mean, would you be in the bedroom or?
Yeah, my bedroom.
Okay, and you guys said you lived in an apartment, so I'm assuming with the rent and everything, it wouldn't be a big apartment just because how expensive things are. What would friend 1 be doing?
What do you mean? Like when we lived in Vegas?
Or whenever.
I don't know. I didn't really.
Oh, because again, I really like to focus on, because all these chats and that and the phone is coming up to that. That's where you live at.
Right.
And all the GPS data is coming up to that house. So I guess we really take away Vegas from that. But so when friend one would come over and you guys would hang out, where would you guys hang out?
In the living room and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you tell me every time he came over, you guys got high and he took your phone and was on it?
No, what I'm saying is I don't ever remember him having my phone. If I'm passed out, you know what I mean? I don't know what someone's done.
Oh, please.
In what we've just heard, the officers make it clear that the problematic online activity was coming not from Las Vegas, but rather from inside the house that Kegan Kline shared with his father in Peru, Indiana.
Boom.
Mm-hmm.
We want to take a moment now to give you an additional content warning.
Right there.
In the section ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to stop it there
Thank
because
God.
this is where it gets really gross. I'm going to go ahead and try to give a brief synopsis because this is kind of what I think brings Tony into this thing.
Which is important.
Yeah, and there's just no easy way to read this, but okay, he's using basically the conversation that he's using Emily Ann, asking the girls if they would do things with his dad. He claimed his dad was the girl asked, well, how old is he? He said he's in his 40s, and starts asking very explicit things for this girl to do. The girl says, well, how old is he? And he says 42. And the girl's 16. Would you hook up with a 40-year-old? And unfortunately, this girl says yes. He asked the girl to go on Skype because his dad is doing a certain thing he wants the girl to see, and ask, will you go on Skype? And she says, yes, I'm ready. So there you have it. It's a lot more graphic than that. So let's skip up to, is there anything, Moon, you want to say at this point while I'm going to move this up?
Well, yeah. He's pretending to be Emily Ann and whoever is using that. And if it actually is Kegan as Emily Ann, why would Kegan be asking if if the other girl is interested in a man that's in their 40s?
Yeah, that's exactly. I think I think it's Tony Kline using the phone at this point.
Right. So I guess we have to listen to the whole thing to get that.
Yeah, and like I said, you guys, if you want to hear the uncensored version, it's the Delphi Murders, the Murder Sheet episode number 81, the Kegan Kline police interview part 1. And again, I want to thank the Murder Sheet for allowing me to do this. Kudos to them. They told me they gave me exclusive rights to do this, or explicit permission is what they told me.
I have a question to Pam, Garrett, and yourself, because I really love your opinion. And I loved your point, Pam.
Yeah.
Well, of course. I loved your point, Pam, when you said, speaking, and when you get the actual live, you can say basically go to your room, or just
go to your room.
Go to your room. It's all about the command. And, exactly. But I want to go back to the part where it's under Emily Ann. If you are basically Kegan and basically being a predator and thinking that you're talking to a underage girl, why would you introduce a much older man into that discussion? Because he is at that time. He's of the age of, he's in his 20s. So then it makes you wonder, is his dad in the background?
It does sound like that. I mean, and basically that's exactly what I think Tony's trying to do. He's trying to make it sound like his son is asking for him, would you hook up with a 42-year-old man?
But do you think that Kegan is actually having a conversation, like Kegan's actually talking and his dad's in the background saying,
No,
Kegan, ask if they're interested, or do you think it's
no.
actually Tony
I
under
I
that
think it's
account?
I think it's Tony fishing to see if he could
Right.
look at a 16-year-old girl naked is what
Me,
I think.
me and
Okay.
Keith have differing opinions though.
Yeah, Garrett,
Okay.
I don't agree with that. Like my opinion is different. I feel like because, and we'll talk about it probably in the next episode, that they have an obviously effed up relationship with each other. This is not
Yeah.
your typical father-son relationship.
that's true.
And for me, it seems like Kegan was kind of the expert at this, right? He's the one that had all the accounts and practice, and so yeah, I could see what you're saying about dad coming up and be like, "Well, this is what I'm into," because they were going to go to the bunny ranch or whatever on the way to Vegas, which is weird,
Yeah, that's strange.
right? That's
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
super weird. So yeah, I think that. I mean, it could go. Listen, you guys know my.
it's just it's
I was not a pancake, dude.
it's bizarre. It's just bizarre that and you
They're both involved.
yeah, and so it's like and it's a very good possibility. You could be right, Garrett. It could be them both working in tandem.
Right.
Absolutely, it could be. But I think part of it is
That makes sense what you're saying. Though.
but I think it's Tony, and because when he goes to Skype, he's 20 something years old versus a 42-year-old man. You could tell the difference. I mean, I know the police bring up, well, you can drop the lights down a little bit,
which is
you know what I
common
mean?
in catfishing.
Which is still, which is still like,
Shout out to Neva Max.
yeah. So my opinion is, I think it's Tony. I think he's the one doing this. I think he's interested. Hey, man, I wonder if a 16-year-old would be interested in a 42-year-old.
Right.
Is that it's possible? Is it
And
possible?
the other thing is that Tony, by Kegan's admission, through the through interviews, is that his dad worked graveyards, right? So maybe his dad is up late, and when you have
That's a great point.
When
That's
you
a great
have
point.
your days off, yeah, exactly. So when you're in that sleep cycle on your days off, you're still going to be up all night. So what is he doing in the middle of the night when Kegan might be
Right.
sleeping?
And another thing to
For
take
sure.
in consideration is when Abby and Libby were murdered on a Monday, his days off were Sunday and Monday.
Exactly.
So he was off on Monday. So everybody kept wondering, well, God, doesn't this guy work? Well, Tony's shift is Tuesday through Saturday.
But I will say back to you, Garrett, I agree with you, and their dynamic was a twisted dynamic, and I think that Kegan is very much under the control of his dad and wanting to appease his
For sure.
father.
That's a good point.
And have his daughter have his too many. See what I'm saying? Daughter too much.
No.
Have his Freudian slip there. Have his father approve of him and love him. There could be that too, right?
Absolutely. Because I mean, you can tell this kid probably was abused most of his life, and there's that strange thing is you still want approval and you want a love from your father.
Yep.
So, all right, let's keep going.
All right.
Or your dad would probably notice that.
Yeah.
So this is one you probably talked to because she was 16.
Never. I never Skyped anyone.
So what did you use?
I mean, Skype in high school and stuff, but never.
But
why would I video chat with someone, if you know what I mean? I'm obviously not that person.
You could just keep her on dark. Yeah. So you can't see anything, right? Which is very common with cases like this. Is like they'll say they're in a dark room, our cameras are not working where they can see the other user and they can't see them. It's pretty common practice with this type of cases. What I'm trying to wrap my head around, I mean, you made the Emily Ann account.
Right.
Okay, and you talk to girls with it.
Right.
So some of those have to be you, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. I definitely talk to girls on there. Yeah, I'm not denying that at all. At this point, the officers provide several graphic accounts of chats between Anthony Schatz and purportedly underage girls. It is unpleasant reading. Finally, Kegan Kline says it is too much even for him.
Female, 3 to 5 years old, laying.
I don't. Can I not hear this?
I mean, this is on your, again, this was on your phone. What? you're being charged with.
I understand, but I mean, I don't want to hear that.
You don't want to hear? I mean, again, this is what you're charged with.
I understand, but I mean, I would rather not hear about that. You know what I mean?
What about it? What is it about that specifically that you...
I mean, you keep talking about these little kids and stuff. I don't want to hear that stuff.
But I need to make sure you understand that this is what is on the phone.
I get that from the first, pages, what you're...
Okay.
I just rather not hear any of that stuff.
We'll jump to another iPhone again. This is iPhone 3. iPhone name is Keggy, last utilized in 2015. It did have a passcode on it. It had your email addresses and account information on it. Just the web history. That was again searched for the life of this device. Beautiful young teen.
Okay, so we'll stop it there. Basically, what they're doing is they're going through.
Well, first off, you nailed that. Well done.
Thank you. That was that.
That was the one.
Yeah. Basically, what they're doing is they're telling Kegan what his searches are, and
Jeez, it's so
any
bad.
disgusting search of young girls and whatever you can think of, it's there
And worse.
So now give me a minute to skip.
Even bestiality, just throw that in there, just to give you an idea of how.
Yeah,
much
they
worse
did
it
ask.
could be.
He was asked during his polygraph test, "What's the strangest porn you ever looked at?" And he said bestiality, and then goes in and denies it later during the interrogation.
Hey, can you mute it real fast?
Yeah. Garrett was
Garrett
asking about mentioning something.
Is awful.
He also he looked up Sandy Hook Sandy Hook pictures, which is young kids dead.
Just awful.
Absolutely horrible. So I'm gonna go ahead and skip to the 5725. So if anybody has anything they want to say for about 5 seconds, where am I going? 57 what? 25. Okay.
There was some kind of bestiality on there as well,
Well,
which I know
there you go.
that you had said that was like kind of the weirdest porn that you had looked up at one point was.
I don't ever remember doing that.
With I know in your polygraph you mentioned the weirdest porn you looked up was with animals. So that was there on there as well. And then the Samsung Galaxy S4, which was last utilized in 2015. That one has your Kegan Kline Skype, Tony Kline's Skype, Kegan Kline at Hotmail, Tony Kline at Gmail, Kegan Kline at Gmail, Tony Kline 765 at Gmail, Emily Ann, and just those internet web searches, 12-year-old body, 12-year-old fingered, 13.
Oops, sorry guys, I missed that. So again, more disgusting searches, and let's go to our next section, which I think is 50. What's that say, Garrett? 5928.
5928.
Okay. This is really hard to do.
You're doing great, man.
Oh man,
It was brutal.
You were nervous.
I was very nervous about doing this show. Okay, here we go.
Female not wearing a shirt and exposing her breasts. The Apple iPod Touch 2015 last utilized in was secured with a PIN code. Had your Kegan Kline at hotmail.com, Kegan Kline usernames and search history recorded from that was 12-year-old girl sucks.
Oh wait,
13-year-old
pause
girl.
it. Pause
Okay,
it. Okay,
sorry.
yeah, it's the wrong one. Okay, so you're supposed to go to 106.
Okay.
That was what you want to do.
Pam,
Go ahead.
can I interject,
Yes,
Pam?
Absolutely. Well, I'm trying to find this.
I just wanted to point out that Pam, you took your glasses off. You're rubbing your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Are you okay? You look like
no.
you're okay.
Pam changes lives for a living, so
you save lives, right?
Yeah.
You're a nurse.
So is it 106
Okay. 106,
completely?
yeah.
Okay.
So we're always grateful. when
Oh
Pam
man,
on.
I had 106, 105, 59. I just
And I know how like OCD you are about this stuff.
105.
Hey, just turn the.
I'll just turn the volume down. Let me see.
Just mute it,
Guys, if they say something horrible, I
Sorry.
apologize.
Yeah.
This to investigators when they talked to you originally.
Because none of this was brought
Because
up. They didn't tell me, you know what I mean? I had no clue there was little kid stuff on there. Me and the lady talked about it, and I told her, yeah, I had a problem. And she, we talked about everything.
but when you said
I had no clue there was little kids on there. No.
You mean
And why would I give the cop my phone if there was stuff on there like that I knew was on there?
you said it yourself. I mean, you just sat here and said if I didn't, they would know
Yeah.
that they missed it and come back for it.
Well, yeah.
Just
You
be ready to
said-
push the mute.
Knew I had a phone that would look really weird on me.
Right?
Like,
Look bad on you.
phone.
Yeah. So that's exactly. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you just said, why wouldn't you give him that? Because it'd look bad on you, right?
Yeah. So, I mean,
Right?
like, why would I give them my phone knowing that, though? It'd be like, okay, come and get me then.
Well, again, you
You know what I mean?
deleted it before you gave it to law enforcement. You deleted your avenues that you talk to girls with.
Yeah, like,
So you're covering yourself, right? Exactly. Yeah. So
because, like that lady said, stop right now and delete everything. Just,
she did not. Kegan, she did not
well, maybe not
tell
like
you delete everything.
that. Maybe
She did not.
she didn't say delete every. What she said was like,
I think what she said is, Kegan, you need help and
Yeah.
stop looking at porn. That's not.
Yeah.
She didn't say delete it. That's just insane.
He
we
probably
do have a
was-
problem.
Yeah. He's probably they're having a session, and I would imagine she's saying, you have a problem, you need to stop this. And he probably, like, maybe he interpreted it as deleting it as well. I do believe that it freaked him out.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
he just ran home and deleted everything.
Right.
And he may, anyway, obviously.
Yeah.
Problem, and you need to stop right now.
And I'm telling you,
And
your exact same words were, yes, I do, and I'm so fucked.
yeah, because she's telling me I just killed 2 people and I failed my polygraph.
That wasn't even what we talking about. This is way before that.
Okay, well, this is years ago. I don't remember everything. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't.
I never got to see videos of myself, so I don't remember every.
That's what I needed to explain, because I'm telling you, when the prosecutor goes through all this,
Right.
it's not going to fly that a guy that lived by you was accessing your phone, was accessing your account information, knew your passcodes, was these conversations were days in
Right.
and hours
I see what you're saying.
in length.
Right.
Days and hours. That would be someone living in the home that was using the device and communicating with these girls and communicating with these people that were trading child porn. And again, it's not just a random occurrence. We're talking years. We're talking months of the same person. We're talking days. We're talking hours, okay? So this is
I get what you're saying, but
so who else?
admit that. That's what I'm saying. Friend 1 was the only person around that.
But we've already ruled him out, because let's go back to what I just said.
I really wouldn't rule him out. How is that ruling someone out?
So you gave him your phone that he could.
Well, I'm saying like he's used my phone before. I'm not saying like I'm like, hey,
For days and months
use my phone.
at a time?
No,
Right. So again,
but I mean like
we can rule,
like I said,
listen to me. We can rule him out because again, this is days and a month at a time
okay,
and hours at a time. So it can't be him. I mean, multiple devices, not just one. It would be one thing if it was like one time. Yeah, absolutely. And
how is it across multiple devices if I have them all connected?
well, I mean, Apple iPhone.
So one thing happens, then it goes on the devices,
Yeah, the Apple, I mean, you had the 3 before, you had the 4.
right?
Right. And then the conversation that,
So when I get another phone, I download everything that was on that past phone onto my new phone.
but the timestamps are completely different. The images timestamps are different.
I understand.
This is the middle of page 89 of the transcript, and it is where we will end part 1. We know we've just thrown a lot at you all, so let's sum up some of the important points. We're sharing an opinion here, but Kegan Kline's stories about some random friend coming over and swiping his phones over the years for the purpose of downloading child abuse images and videos makes no sense at all. That's obviously a lie, and not a particularly good or sophisticated one at that. Throughout the interview, Vito and Clinton did quite a job of allowing Kegan Kline to set up his excuses and then knocking them down just by pointing out their absurdity. Here's another major point. We're not talking about a single phone or a single message. We're talking about a pattern spanning years. We're talking about a pattern that involved trading images and videos of child sexual abuse with others on platforms like Kik, of searching horrific terms, scouring the internet for disturbing materials. We find the inclusion of search terms.
Okay, we can stop it at this point. Kind of discuss stuff. Moon, I got a question.
Yep.
What do you suppose? Okay, so we've got Tony Kline, Jerry Kline sign-ins on some of these phones. They know that. Why has he not been arrested just for that? Or do you think that could jeopardize the case? Or what do you think their motive is behind that? Because we have proof that both of them basically are using the phones. So why didn't they pull Tony Kline in?
Well, based on the Barbara, I can't remember her last name, the HLN interview, Tony Kline's house was raided, and we don't know exactly what they took when they raided that house about 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, they cut, as you know, when they raided the house, he stopped talking to Kegan or communicating with Kegan altogether. So, sorry, I almost forgot what your question is. I think it's because Kegan is such a pathological liar. He's saying that his dad, there's no way that his dad could have had access to his phone, and then yet he's saying that his phone was, people could have used his phone. How in a circumstantial case, let's say that Kegan says, yes, my dad had access to my phone, and
I thought he did say that at one point, that his dad could have.
He said he could have, but it wasn't like a complete admission. He basically said, she said, is anybody else in the house phone? Could your dad have done this? Could he have had access? And he said, well, yes, he could have. But then she also said, where were you at this time, right?
I got to cut you off for just a minute.
Right.
Roscoe, I got exclusive rights from Murder Sheet to play this. I talked to Anya and Kevin about it, and so I'm not playing this without their permission. I've already talked to them. So anyway,
this is 194 pages.
Yeah, it's 194 pages. I talked to Anya and Kevin. We had, like I said, if you're watching at the very beginning, I explained all that.
Again, go to Murder Sheet and like and subscribe.
Yeah, and go to Murder Sheet, like and subscribe, because it was awesome.
Watch our show with them. That was a great show.
Yeah, it was very awesome of Murder Sheet to let me do this, so I'm not breaking any community guidelines. I think you would have saw Anya and Kevin probably pop up in here if that was the case. Yeah. So no, we're good, man.
We're good.
I guess I just wanted to say, basically, I guess they obviously need to have an airtight, solid case, and people want nowadays DNA. They want DNA.
Right.
They want, because Kegan is such a pathological liar that when he gets on the stand and they start going over who had access, well, you lied at this time. You said that your dad didn't have access. So how is the prosecutor and the defense attorney will have a field day, right? When they say, did your dad have access to the phone? And they go back and he said, no. In the 2017, no, my dad didn't have access. He's all over the place. So how are you going to believe a pathological liar on the stand? Like, he's not a good witness, but yet
he is.
Is he a good witness? Like, how?
There's two sides of every pancake. Well, that's the thing, is he's going to
saying that.
I'm going to keep saying it. Hey, because he's going to tie himself in knots, and that's like a prosecutor's best. That's like a softball for a prosecutor.
I mean, I would think if I was his attorney, I wouldn't put him on the stand.
Right. But if
I
he
wouldn't even
turns-
had him to do an interview
know, but
or
what-
talk or anything.
I think what Moon's saying
Yeah,
though, is
exactly.
that if he ends up getting a deal, he'll probably have to take the stand against his father if he ends up
Yeah.
taking the deal. So
That's what I'm saying. And even
Yeah.
if he doesn't take the stand, the defense attorney on Tony Kline, if it is his dad, they're going to have a field day by going through the mountain of lies.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
people on the
Excellent
people
point.
people that are on the jury that somehow aren't following this case, there are lots of people that live under a rock, and the people, those are the people that you would want. And basically, if they hear Kegan Kline's account of everything, under circumstantial evidence, and they say, and basically Kegan says, yes, he did have access. I was lying before, but now I'm telling the truth.
Yeah.
He's not on the stand.
He's dug himself a deep grave.
But he's dug himself a deep grave, and it shows you the importance of having an attorney. And now what's
absolutely.
happening is his dad is out there riding his Harleys and going to concerts, if his dad is involved, and Kegan's sitting in jail. So I guess my point is that when you lie like that and then it goes to court and there isn't absolute 100% DNA, how can you go after his dad, right? If we were on the jury, we would never be allowed on the jury, right?
Yeah.
But people that don't know the case whatsoever, that are completely ignorant to the case, they would basically think Kegan's a liar and we're not going to convict Tony. They need to make sure that it's 100%, right? They need, you know what I mean? Like they
need the physical evidence for sure. There's a lot of circumstantial evidence, but only for the child pornography. I can say that because this is not going to get monetized.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But not for Delphi. They just, it's like I said, that they got to have physical evidence. They need, and I think that's why they keep putting the court date off. And I'm sure that's because they're trying to get Kegan to turn on his dad.
Yeah, I absolutely. But even if he does turn on his dad, how is he going to be believable at this point? In terms of,
because you've got
it's a catch-22 for
yeah,
sure.
I mean, you could pull Jerry in on the CP, no problem. Because he has sign in on every one of those forms.
Yep, he has. Yep.
So there's proof of that. But but again, like you said, you got to connect it to the murder. The Delphi murders are the big picture here, not so much the child pornography. And
it's just a pawn.
One of the videos, you sent me, which was very interesting. I can't remember. I think it was CD or something.
Yes. Yeah. It's an analysis of
CP. He was saying that he said really for a CP case, he said they double stacked a lot of stuff on Kegan, more so than what they would have done if this would have been just your regular child pornography case.
Yeah. They're doing yes, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, and they're doing it because they can threaten Kegan with, hey, you got 40 years you're looking at, thinking maybe that'll give him a flip rather than, okay, you got 6 years, or something like that for child pornography.
And when they're saying this to him, he's obviously not in a state jail. He hasn't been convicted, and I guess this is fairly early on in his arrest. But he just seems like, oh well, he seems so like he doesn't even grasp the magnitude of what is.
He's dismissive.
He's like, do you understand that you're probably going to do 60 years in jail?
Right.
And he seems to be completely, not understanding the magnitude of it.
And if he goes to jail for child porn, he won't do 60 years.
No, I know that. And we live in Canada, and the frustrating thing is that we see actual predators that rape kids that get out.
Right. I said
No.
like several weeks ago, and
I don't think he'll get out. I think
what's that?
if the general population gets a hold of him, he
Yeah.
won't get out alive.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
he-
yeah.
Well, I mean,
He's gonna have about
that's something
yeah.
that CD brought up is he's going to have to be in isolation. I mean,
Yep.
he's going to have to be in isolation the whole time he gets
Yeah,
convicted.
he will.
But like I said several weeks ago, and I know a lot of people didn't agree with me. I mean, child porn is awful. It's horrible, but most people only do about 5-6 years. They're not going to do
Oh, do
30.
they?
I said on child pornography, as bad as it is, most cases aren't 30 to 40 years. They're, if in good behavior and realistically, Kegan probably could get out in 5.
And my point is that was exactly my point. My point is that you have somebody that's doing cyber crimes, and then there's people that are doing actual physical active crimes against children that don't even do they get out in a couple of years.
Sure.
So that's why I guess that's why they're stacking, because they're really saying, you better figure
That's
out
dog whistle
right?
to everybody that
Yeah.
this guy does not need to be out, right? So
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, until like I said, they've got the DNA. It can't be good DNA. It just can't.
well, he searched
No,
how
it
long
can't
does
be.
DNA lasts on the body.
I mean, it can't even be DNA to eliminate
Yeah.
somebody, because they would have been able to say, "Oh, we eliminated them." They wouldn't have been stacking these charges, right?
Right.
So do what?
No, exactly. And I was going to say that there's a part of me that wonders if the police are actually fishing more than saying this is what we know. They're fishing, and because that's what they do. They do lie in interrogations.
Oh, sure.
And having said that, if they had a DNA where they could absolutely exclude Kegan and his dad, he would be completely excluded. Now, this is where I'm confused. He has been arrested and charged for the CSAM, but has he absolutely been excluded on Delphi? This is where I'm confused by. And if they had his DNA and his dad's DNA, as you said, Keith, we've talked about this, there would be similar markers. So
Yeah.
I don't think they have proper DNA, and I think they're collecting DNA.
Yeah.
Obviously, with the hopes of technology advancing and one day getting the right person, or the person, right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's just going to be a tough thing, because we don't know how they died, for one. So if it was a knife, there wasn't a knife left behind. There wasn't something that, I can't remember what that new DNA thing's called. It's something vac, where they can actually vacuum.
yeah. AirVac, is it AirVac?
No, it's
No,
I can't remember. Someone tell me in the chat if you remember. But
didn't they use that for the Zodiac with and the other
I
one?
know they used that
Yeah.
for the West Memphis 3. They were trying to raise enough money to get the DNA off of some certain items. I think the sticks that they believe the kids were hit with. But I think that's been ongoing now for a couple of years to see if they could trace it to someone other than those 3.
Do you know? Can I ask you a question in terms of Delphi again?
Yeah.
Who was it? One detective was interviewed, and I don't know if it was the Indiana State Police or if it was the local county police sheriff. Somebody said, is there DNA in Delphi? And one of the police said, yes, there is.
Yeah, I think there's actually Lesenby that said they had DNA.
Okay.
That was on that H&L special. They did. This is another point Sinbad just brought up. Let me grab it.
Sinbad?
Yep. Didn't police collect
Sinbad?
his dog? Yeah. So I mean, that's another thing. Maybe it's not human DNA. Maybe they got a hair from a dog, and they took the dog to check the DNA, which I would say by now they would know the results of that, so that must have been a bust on that. Which
Yeah.
one?
Do you,
yeah,
do you know? Do you know?
Wendy, thank you.
Do you know as of today? Sorry, I'm not actually reading. Sorry that I'm not actually reading the comments, but I was, and I'll go back and I'll read. But do you know if I forgot my train of thought here. Never mind.
It's okay. I do it
completely
all the time.
forgot what I was
Especially
gonna
with
say.
this case, man. Like you were even saying before, Keith.
Yeah, it's a
In
very
preparation for it, you're like, I feel like a ton of bricks is on top of me right now.
yeah. And we're gonna do part 2 next week.
Yeah. Oh,
so
that's what I was gonna say. Sorry to interrupt while it's in my brain. Do you know that the Indiana State Police just released a new statement asking for anyone that was under an account or an app called Yellow?
Yep.
yeah, and they're
yeah.
going to France. I guess this company's in France.
Okay.
They're going to France, and I'm guessing that's probably to get the company to turn over all the chats that was involved with this
Right.
Anthony Shots. And again, that would it would just make a bigger case for the CP case more so than the Delphi. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's just more to scare Kegan. I don't know. Kegan doesn't seem like he's going to give, though. I mean, it's been 2 years and he hasn't gave up his dad. And he
He likes the game.
Which also makes me which
True.
also makes me believe that he's not going to give up his dad. Well, there must be some weird dynamic going on because it's his dad and there's loyalty, but he's involved somehow.
Oh yeah.
If he gives up his dad, they're saying all bets are off with any deal that we're willing to offer you.
Yeah, someone brought up too that, and it might have been CD that was kind of interesting in Doug Carter's statement, and he said, we're going to shift gears. Well, Tony's a big race car guy.
Exactly.
Shift gears.
Yeah.
So almost like he's speaking to Tony, like we're on you. We just got to find it.
Yeah.
I wonder if they don't find any physical evidence, if they're just going to build a big circumstantial. I mean, that's going to be a tough case, though.
Hey.
I mean, he looks like the bridge guy, but so does 100 other people.
It'll be the trial of the century.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
well, look at Casey. Was it Casey Anthony? Is that her name?
Right. Yep.
Oh my God! I mean, to me it was obvious that at least there was some severe neglect. I don't know how her child died, but the fact is that somehow there was, look where juries will go.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they want to get it right.
Look at O.J. Simpson case.
The difference between
you had enough evidence to, if it would have been anybody else, it would have been an open shut case.
The difference between this case and both of those cases is going to be the digital footprint.
Yeah.
Because it's much more prevalent,
Right.
obviously, now than it was then. So.
Oh, the other thing I wanted to say to you is, yet he seems very like, I'm really stupid when it comes to technology.
Me too.
Oh, I'm old, right? And not to say that old people are stupid. I just happen to be old and stupid with technology. But I wanted to say that strangely, Kegan seems very technology savvy, but yet he didn't use a VPN.
Yeah.
So
well, he mentions it.
But so it makes you wonder, because he didn't use a VPN, with somebody else like his father going on and going on to using another phone without a
under
VPN.
the same account.
I'm confused by that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, why
is that on the next sorry, not to cut you off.
No.
Well, because it's all kind of a blur when you listen to it, because I was listening to it throughout the day. What she's talking about, because we talked about it before the show, is that on the next segment? Because we didn't fast forward through that.
We may have.
Okay.
I think we did. It's in the first one where he talked about, well, what did I have, a VPN if I had anything to hide? But it's like, I think he just got very comfortable with it.
It's kind of like you did with the spirits.
And I don't think he knew this was going to lead to a murder case.
Right.
Had this not happened, the murder case, he probably would still be downloading porn.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what tipped was it I guess the Anthony Shots thing is what finally tipped them off to Kegan, right? That they tracked it down to know that it was him.
Yeah, and that was in 2017, like a week after the girls were murdered. But how did they know about that? What led them to?
Well, and why didn't if they're making a big deal about the porn, I wonder why they didn't arrest him back then for the porn.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what I realized today.
I think it's like an oversight, and they finally started putting pieces together and thinking, oh, the dad. So we, hey, if we get the son, surely the dad, it's not gonna let the son rot in
House of
jail,
Cards.
or the son's gonna flip on the dad.
The old House of Cards.
But this is gonna be, regardless this case, I'm hoping it'll be solved. But they really got to get some physical evidence to tie this into the Delphi.
This might be,
and there could be things that we don't even know.
Yeah, look at the Golden State Killer. The things that we're not going to know all the new technology that they're bringing in and the way that they're going to get these guys.
Yeah.
So it could be something completely mind blowing, and hopefully it is. And we're like, oh my God, I can't believe it's brand new, and you're going to catch all these predators. So in an ideal world, right?
Yeah, and we talked about, I'll say this and then we got to get off here.
Yeah.
But it's Kegan's voice does sound like the guy who says down the hill. And so I started thinking, well, maybe it was both of them. But then I kind of thought, Kegan's probably 300 pounds.
Exactly.
And that terrain out there, like he would fall down the hill. He wouldn't go down the hill. And the terrain is like, even some past YouTube creators who went out there, they were huffing and puffing and they were in pretty decent shape. So it makes, that's kind of, because I really thought both of them must have been out there, because I thought, okay, the voice definitely isn't Tony. It doesn't sound anything like him, but it sure sounds like Kegan.
Go check it out. Hey, how can we find that? Because that was the first time.
All they got to do is just, I think most people have heard it. It's just the interview he did with Barbara McDonald.
Okay.
It's on there, and you can hear him talking, and I can easily hear that down the hill kind of sound in the guy's voice. Who knows? Maybe he was down the hill saying that, come down the hill.
Right.
I don't know.
Because I think it's spliced up. But I have a question.
I do too.
I must have looked at that picture of BG 100 times, and some clips he looks thinner and shorter and heavier, and some he looks taller. And a lot of people say, "Oh no, Tony was tall, so it couldn't have been. He looked short." I don't think you can really tell how tall BG is from that image, because there's a comparison.
You don't know the angle of the phone, everything is going to come into play in that. So it could make someone look taller, could make someone look, shorter. We're just not going to know. But Tony Kline, man, out of all the suspects that we've went over before, he looks like the bridge guy.
I will say this: if I didn't know anything about the case and I was on the jury, and I think the defense would go hard at Kegan and making him look like a lousy witness and not credible, I wouldn't convict Tony.
Honestly, even if it comes down to, let's say they do arrest Tony, honestly, I don't even think that clip will be presented in court, because it'd be so easy for a defense attorney to go, hey, I can find 50 guys that look like this guy.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's not any definite proof. Yeah, it resembles, but he resembles a lot of people. So you're not going to see that clip in court. They're not going to be able to use that at all.
But that downloading, sorry if I interrupt, but when they talk about, this is where I'm ignorant, when they start going into drop boxes, is it possible that someone hacked in to that account or used that. There seems to
I
be a
think
lot
the
of
pattern-
It is, but it's highly
Yeah.
unlikely.
I think
Yeah.
like the numbers don't really lie. So if you have 5 devices that are
Yeah.
all 5 active,
Now
with that
you
kind
can
of stuff-
share, like, I mean, you can, I've had drop. I'm a musician, so like I would drop my music into something for one of the other musicians to get into the Dropbox. Like I'd put it in his Dropbox, and we just kind of trade back and forth.
Hey, Keith,
our-
what do you
our-
play?
What's that?
What do you play, Keith?
I play guitar.
I'm a guitar player.
Cool. Yeah, I played John Lennon in a tribute band for 30 years.
He's amazing.
Oh no!
That's
On,
awesome.
on another show, we would love to. You do like a rock. Like
It's a British invasion show now. So
Yeah.
we just look up on YouTube, not YouTube, I'm sorry. Look up on Facebook, the British Invasion group,
okay.
and that's where we're at.
Check it out.
All
No,
right,
but
we
I
got
mean,
it.
but
Sorry
okay.
to
Sorry,
to
you're changing the
digress there.
subject. Yeah.
No,
I
no.
just meant
Bring it
like you
back.
could have another show.
Ah.
Sorry to the
Oh,
Delphi.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could do Unplugged with Keith.
Hey,
Yes, exactly.
Sandra and Troy.
Yeah.
Do you follow us on Instagram so I can keep in touch with you guys? And because
Okay.
we're gonna be on next week too, right? They're gonna be on next week too.
Yep.
Oh, sorry.
Yep.
Sorry,
Yep,
Moon.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
I knew that was going to happen.
It's okay.
That's all right.
Hey, you guys have been so amazing.
All right, well-
glad we dragged Troy out of the back room. Jeez.
I know. We got to get Troy a microphone.
Yeah, he's
All
smart.
right.
He's way smarter than me.
Well, all right, guys. Well, thank everybody for showing up today. Thank you for your
The Pam
your
Cam.
Tuesday. We love you. Thanks. Yeah, we got the Pam Cam going. We got everything
1080.
going.
It
So
was
next week we're going to do part 2, and again, I'm just going to warn you, it's going to be probably as graphic as this was. So,
Yeah,
but
and Roscoe. Make
the
sure
next
you
one,
come.
the next part 2 is interesting because then it starts tying Tony in a little more. They talk about
Yeah.
them on the Vegas trip and the Bunny Ranch and all that
Yeah.
crazy stuff. So, all right, we love you guys,
Yeah.
and we will see
It was
you.
so-
Culpable.
Yeah.
Culpable and borderline guilty. Sorry.
And Pam,
Good night.
All right, good night,
it
guys.
was
Love
good
you.
to
Bye bye.
see you, Pam. Okay, bye.